Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki, Sean, and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 60, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and joining me once more is Brian Hall.
Hey, 60 is the new 50, right?
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And 50's good, right?
50's not good, actually. So
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Wow, 60 episodes. Happy to be here with you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, think about it. When we first started, we were talking about Hobbit number 1.
Really?
And now, this many years later, we're talking about Hobbit number 3.
Yeah. Wow.
So I saw The Hobbit 3, by the way.
Yes.
And this is going to blow your mind.
Yes.
Given, on the history of our show has been me chiming in every couple of years, kind of shitting all over the Hobbit movies.
You were a bit lackadaisical about it.
Yeah,
right?
That's been kind of my MO. That's my thing,
Yeah.
It's like Fonzie has his leather jacket. I have my shitting on the Hobbit movies. But I'm going to blow your mind.
What?
I think I kind of loved The Hobbit 3.
What? Loved?
Loved.
I thought you were going to say liked. Really?
The kind of love a man has for a woman.
Wow.
Yep.
This is special. Well, so did you going to get a promise ring or?
We are going steady. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I have one ring that's very precious to me. So
Right. One ring to rule them. Mm.
yes, it's true.
So wait, now, is this
we just lost our audience. They're like, this is the dorkiest podcast.
Yeah, this is like the first time listeners are just like, oh,
Hey, one ring.
That's what's going on here. Yeah. No, so is this would you say you loved it because now it's complete? Like all these pieces add up to something that you enjoyed overall?
Yeah, well, so what I did was before part 3 came out, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and rewatch the previous ones. My goal being I want to rewatch them while awake.
That's right. You had some problems.
I did. I had a vomit problem the first one and a sleepiness problem the second one. So that was the bar I set. I was like, I just want to stay awake, and I did. Which was a plus. And it turns out that the magic ingredient for me enjoying these movies was not throwing up or falling asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So rewatching 1 and 2, you liked them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say so. I appreciated them more, and then when I saw sort of all the pieces come together with the third one, at that point I was able to look at the trilogy and be like, okay,
right.
I like this prequel trilogy, which I don't usually say about prequel trilogies, by the way.
Yeah, very rare.
Worth pointing out. I really, I'm now looking forward to going through the Rings trilogy again. Mm-hmm. Because
I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's where this one ends, where The Hobbit 3 ends, is literally right where Lord of the Rings begins.
Oh, okay.
Where the film begins. And I think that's really cool, where if you do watch them as a sequence of 6, it'll feel seamless.
Okay. Sure.
So I really do and it's funny because I sound like just an asshole because I've spent so much time, I've staked my reputation on just belittling these films, and I have to eat crow. I think on balance, the flaws are still there. I think it is too long. Mm-hmm. There's stuff that didn't need to be there, etc. But it worked for me. What can I say? And to be fair, one factor that I think helped is that I watched with my oldest son, and I was able to appreciate it more through him. Mm-hmm. Because he's not jaded and cynical yet.
So he was pretty dazzled by it.
He's into it, and he's looking forward to seeing the third one. So I'm looking forward to that, and
I see. He saw you watched the first 2 with him, and he's going to see the third.
I haven't seen the third one. I figured I'll watch it first, just in case there's rampant beheadings or anti-Semitism or things that I should protect him from. Just randomly, Peter Jackson includes like anti-Semitic orcs.
Yeah. Like,
You know, just didn't see that coming. I don't think
Yeah.
Tolkien had that in there, but okay.
yeah.
You know,
5 movies without it so far, I guess. You felt
I
that
guess-
was the time.
you couldn't keep the streak going for too long. It's also the shortest. It's 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Which is hilarious, but yeah, I mean, it is the shortest. So it's like, oh, thank God, it's only 2.5 hours. Peter Jackson exercised restraint.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think I liked the first 2 more than you, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe we probably like them equally now that you've seen them awake. And
I would expect so, yeah. Yeah, and it's weird. I mean, yeah, because my beef was that you don't really get a sense of who the characters are, and
No,
I think part of it was I was making unfair comparisons to the Lord of the Rings, which I think is just a superior set of films, not in comparison to this, but just in general,
yeah, I'd agree with that because I've watched the first 2 and I don't remember any of the characters.
Yeah.
Like the first movie, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, like Aragorn. By the time that movie's over, you're like, I would follow that dude anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel these things in Legolas and Gimli and their sort of dynamic and whatnot. And like, it's all there. And
Yeah.
when I think about it now, I can recall the feelings that I get from those
Yeah.
people. And it's like, but the Hobbit films, I feel like never successfully established that with their characters.
Not as well, but definitely I feel like by the end, I mean, you've got Thorin Oakenshield as kind of the main character among the dwarves, and you definitely get he's played by Richard Armitage in the films, and you get a sense of who he is, and a couple of the other dwarves, not all of them, I couldn't, name them in a lineup, but
Sleepy.
Dopey,
Grumpy.
yeah, Grouchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it just grew on me like a wart.
This is a part of me now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm too lazy to go buy the remover.
I dug it though. I did dig it. So make
Okay.
of that what
I'm
you
sure
will.
by the next episode I'll have seen it, so
Yeah,
I'll throw in my 2 cents. Probably agree with you.
we shall see. Hey, have you seen anything lately?
Yeah, right before we started recording, I've been watching this series, the Foo Fighters' Sonic Highways on HBO. Have you seen this?
Why are you watching a thing about the Foo Fighters, Brian?
Oh, I've only liked the Foo Fighters ever since before their inception in 1995.
Is it because of your man crush on Dave Grohl?
Yeah, I've had a long-standing man crush on Dave Grohl. I was really into the Nirvana, of course, and then when I heard the Foo Fighters were even going to be a thing, I got excited about them before hearing One Note, and so yeah, I've been a big fan of theirs for a long time. Oh, and actually, we've probably told this story, but I met Dave Grohl while I was hanging out with Zaki.
Yeah, that's right.
unbeknownst to Zaki, and I've met him twice. And the first time was a very positive experience, and I was able to say a couple things that were pretty cool, and he had some cool stuff to say back. Second time, I don't know what came over me, but I got a little nervous, and I had like a little schoolgirl thing going on. And it was one of those things where you're in the moment, and you can feel your breath leaving you. And you're like, oh, man, I look like an idiot. Right now, in this moment, look like an idiot, and you know it. And anyway, he was cool about it. And I walked out and caught up with you outside this Amoeba Records, and I remember being like, "Oh man, I just talked to Dave Grohl. I think I made a fool of myself." And you're like, "What?" Like you had no idea that had just happened. And anyway, side note. But so yeah, what's interesting about this show is it's part rock and roll documentary, part documentary about the making of the latest Foo Fighters album called Sonic Highways. And the premise behind it is really interesting. It's basically Dave Grohl wanted to go to these major music cities across America, so New Orleans, Chicago, LA, Seattle. And each episode is dedicated to a city, and he talks to, for starters, he talks to like local legends, from each city. But then he also goes a little bit deeper into the corners and talks to sort of the unsung heroes of those cities and sort of tells their stories. And then those things inform the song. Each song on the album is sort of informed by a city. And what I really like about it is, I just like rock documentaries anyway, but what I like about it is that each episode, since it's dedicated to a different city, each one feels different. You know, like I just watched the Seattle one, and when it was over, I felt kind of down, honestly. I mean, it's kind of a sadder story that they have up there, what with, you know, Kurt Cobain and Jimi Hendrix and a lot of artists they've lost and things like that. But then the episode before that was about New Orleans, and there was a lot of exuberance, you know, with that city and their music, in spite of some of its sadder origins. But it's just the music was so upbeat. And so when that episode was over, I was like, you know, really excited. And so yeah, I highly recommend it. I know it's on HBO Go, and I think there's one episode left. It's on Fridays on HBO. It's pretty cool. I think people would dig it.
Sonic Highways.
And then, do you have an amazing segue for the next thing I watched?
Well, I was gonna say, let's take an on ramp to your next thing. I screwed it up, I think. But go ahead. What else have you seen?
Dude, we'll be on episode 160. I will never get tired of your segues. So good. So the other thing I got to watch was this film called Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that's about the X-Men character.
That's right. It's about his high school days. And he was a frumpy blue creature, but then someone took the glasses off of him and made him into a popular blue creature.
Was that someone Freddie Prinze?
Uh-huh. And he was all that. Nightcrawler. Check it out, folks. No, I watched...
I want to see that movie. I
do too. Especially with Oncoming, right? No, Nightcrawler... I gotta be honest, this is a movie that was a little under the radar for me. It seems like these are the sorts of movies. This is with Jake Gyllenhaal, and the premise of it is he's this guy who can't hold down a job, and so he's looking for any means to make money, and he comes across a car accident, and he sees people filming it, and he's like, you know, they sell that footage to the news, and then the news is like, tonight an accident on the 5, and they'll show the footage, you know, that guy sold. So he just goes and buys a camcorder, and it's about this really ambitious guy who's willing to maybe bend the rules to try to get the best footage so he can, you know, move up in that world. And so the premise I thought was kind of interesting, but this is just, it made me think, like, this is the type of film that you just I don't think I've ever seen an ad for it on television. This is one of those things that either goes under the radar and like a couple people see it in like art house theaters, and then it ends up on DVD or whatever, or it ends up on demand simultaneously as a theatrical release.
Right.
Whereas that used to be like a Scarlet Letter sort of situation, where it's like, oh, if it's on demand right now, it's probably no good. Right. But now they start releasing these pretty good movies, and I'm not saying this one is, because it isn't, but this just feels like one of those movies, like under the radar films. But I gotta say, I dug it. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but this is just it's a good dark film. You know, it's this guy, like I say, he's kind of a sociopath, honestly. Like, it's the story. It's sort of Taxi Driver in a different sort of setting, where it's like this guy, and I would say he's maybe a little bit more not relatable, but you almost kind of admire his gumption at first, where he's just like, okay, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And he has all these mantras, and he's read all these self-help books and all these business books, and so he practices all these sort of methods of how to get ahead in the world. And it's something that, you know, some ways you can almost like relate to, you know, you kind of admire it. But then he starts going to these sort of dark places with these means and these methods, and you're like, oh, like, this guy's kind of scary. but he still does it all with a smile on his face. So it's a very compelling performance from Gyllenhaal. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated for something with this.
So and he's like just skinny and like skeletal almost.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight, and he also does this thing where he rarely blinks throughout the movie. So
as opposed to his other movie where he blinks like excessively.
Oh yeah, that's so Gyllenhaal.
I love how, like, he's like, in my last movie, I was like blinking a lot. This time I'm gonna not blink.
It does like something like some middle of the road actor would say on Inside the Actors Studio or something. I was like, what if I don't blink? Right? No, but I mean, it doesn't call attention to itself. I mean, it's really, I mean, he's totally compelling in this thing, and it's you know, I think for people who are looking for like a smaller movie, great performance, dark. I think people are going to like it, and I think it sometimes it gets a little bit over dramatic and maybe a little like because it wants to sort of rip the lid off of local news and we'll do anything and we'll show anything if it gets people eyeballs on the news, and it's like I mean it's not necessarily a new concept where you're like wow someone's finally saying it and a little bit of that stuff's on the nose, but other than that I mean the story and following this character, he's a compelling character to watch for 90 to 100 minutes.
Well, so. and his next, I mean, have you seen pictures of him in his new movie called Southpaw?
Yeah.
He's like a behemoth.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a He-Man action figure.
So whatever he's doing is not healthy.
Mm-hmm. I'm amazed that actors do this stuff to themselves.
Yeah, well, it's dedication. That's the reason they're successful, Brian, and we're not. Because I just don't have that level of dedication.
Yeah.
That's
it. Because I have the abs, but I'm not willing to go to the gut.
Yeah.
So
he does have the abs. It's true.
I'll never get the Oscar.
Yeah. You just randomly flash your abs at me when we're doing our bi-weekly chat.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you ever hear Zaki like so in local, whoa.
Yeah. It's incredibly disturbing / compelling. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Moving on. Those are some of the new releases we've seen. Obviously, I didn't want to bury the lead here because normally we do trailer talk later in the episode, but everybody who's been reaching out to me via email has asked what we're going to be saying about the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer. Mm-hmm. And that was released. I mean, we're actually way behind the 8 ball because between the time this trailer was released and us recording the show, there have been about 8 million different parodies.
Yeah. Well, in internet, time, we're about 6 months late on this.
Well, in internet time, this is basically the difference between the Jurassic and the Cretaceous period.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Several millions of years have now gone by. But I would say let's play some of the audio, but really I'm not even going to bother with that.
Yeah, it's just John Williams' score, which is worth listening to on its own anyway, but...
it's and a dialogue that has no connection to what we see on screen. No. So the Star Wars trailer is 88 seconds, but I'm sure we have more than 88 seconds worth of things to say about it. So now worth pointing out here. So Brian is a very good friend. Brian is the kind of friend who I think about myself and I'm like, I wish I was like Brian. This is true. Brian, I've never told you this, but I like you.
Thanks, man.
You're a good guy. So last week was Thanksgiving weekend. Uh-huh. And that's when they released the Star Wars trailer. So right after it came out, I assumed that Brian had seen it. I texted him on Friday afternoon, and he said, I'm not going to see it until Monday night. The reason being why, Brian?
I have a good friend. Let's call him Chad. And Chad and I are big Star Wars fans, and he was saying... before we knew when this trailer was going to drop, he said, let's watch this trailer together. Like, let's just because, the Phantom Menace trailer back in the day, that was like a huge thing when it dropped. Everyone bought tickets to the theater to go see it and then left and didn't even watch the movie they bought tickets for. So he's like, let's watch this trailer together. So then as I was traveling up north for Thanksgiving, that was when it was announced that the Star Wars trailer was going to drop. That weekend, I was like, oh no. So I reached out to my friend and I said, feel free, go ahead and you can go ahead and watch it. And he's like, oh, I'll wait. And I was like, oh.
And you're like, damn it.
So I did. I waited. And
now bear in mind that in the middle of this, Brian actually visited my house.
That's true.
Brian visited my house, and Brian's girlfriend had not seen the Star Wars trailer, and I was like, "Well, I'm happy to put it on the TV for you. Brian, do you want to what?" And Brian, I played the role of Satan because I was like, "Sit down. It's 88 seconds," Ain't no one gonna know. It's just you and me. And Brian, this is true, went in the other room and started jumping up and down on a trampoline.
That's correct.
But you did hear the audio, yes?
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what was going on.
I may or may not have blasted the audio up to full blast. Because I wanted to tease Brian mercilessly. So anyway, my point is this is the kind of person Brian is. I have all the respect in the world, and I love Chad, by the way. But Chad, I got to be honest, I would 100% have already watched the trailer. I'm not a good person. You're very lucky to have the kind of roommate you have. Is my point.
Yeah.
So Brian, you and I have not talked about it at all.
Wow, I can't believe that actually. But yeah,
this is true.
Right.
So I want to hear your thoughts on our first look at Star Wars The Force Awakens. That being said, if you're going to criticize the Black Stormtrooper, maybe that shouldn't be your first thought.
Which I have talked about that with some people, and I start getting worked up. I can't even believe that's a thing. That just...
Yeah, it turns out racism is a thing. I don't know if you've been following news events over the past month, but it's like between everything else that's been going on in the country, the outcry over the Black Stormtrooper is literally the moment where I'm like, sure, why not?
I know. It's like I don't even want to give it any further breath. It's such a stupid thing. Anyway,
yeah, but go ahead.
So yes, the thing is I think a lot of people enjoyed it, but some people felt kind of let down by it. But I'll say that I wasn't at all let down by it, and the reason is I knew it was a teaser. I knew it was just going to be a tone poem setting up, the full trailer that's going to drop in, who knows, 5-6 months or something. And that said, the tone worked for me. So the poem, if you will, I from the second, the horns, John Williams' horns popped in there, and Boyega popped in the screen. I was just like, I don't know, I was feeling it. I really was. Like watching him in the Stormtrooper outfit scurrying away, and then you see the girl starting up that sort of hover speeder bike looking thing, and all, like it to me, between the John Williams score and the look of what we saw, it felt like old Star Wars to me. Or let's call it original. Old maybe sounds negative, but like the original trilogy, the one that I am deeply in love with, this brought back those feelings. Haven't seen the movie. This is just a teaser, but I will say the teaser, let's say, it totally worked for me.
Did it make you feel the way the Phantom Menace trailer did? Teaser?
I have no idea. You know what? I'll say no only because I doubt anything could, because at that point, we had no idea we were going to see new Star Wars. Ever. And the fact that they were making a new one, that was just unprecedented. That there was going to be another Star Wars. So seeing new Star Wars for the first time in years when you never expected it, and then I'll never forget this moment when Darth Maul had his lightsaber out, and then the lightsaber came out the other end as well. I remember being like, oh, like, damn, So, I don't know. I doubt few things will ever live up to that trailer, to be honest.
Yeah. And to be fair, the reaction to the Star Wars, the Phantom Menace trailer is inversely proportional to the reaction to the movie.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, the Phantom Menace trailer, everybody was in love with.
Oh, you just say, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, yes, okay, sure. So, well, let me hear your thoughts then.
I think it looks like shit, and I was excited until I saw this. No, I'm just, I actually, no, that was like really awkward silence because you were like, uh-oh. No,
part of me that was like, oh, really?
You're like, oh, well, then this is incredibly awkward. No, I wasn't underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I was just whelmed.
Sure.
Because you can't look at this trailer and be like, oh my gosh, that looks terrible. But neither can you look at it and be like, that looks amazing, Right. It looks like, hey, Star Wars coming. Mm-hmm. And, there's that ship that you know. That's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I wrote on my blog, and I still feel this way, is that it looks like these like fan films that are all over YouTube.
Really?
And not in terms of production quality. I don't mean that. Only in the sense that I need to see the characters I know before it feels like Star Wars to me.
Chad said the exact same thing, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. The lack of the familiar faces. He said it felt like Star Wars the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's not a ding on anything. It's just a comment on what we have so far. Mm-hmm. You know? See, I agree with Chad. Maybe I would wait to see the trailer with Chad.
Well, no, I talked about that Star Wars fan film that I watched recently, The Mentor.
Yes.
And it had prequel footage in it, and I just feel like having that prequel footage fresh in my mind, you know, where there was just this sort of flatness to it and this sort of... I mean, it was early in the stages of CG. Like, Jar Jar was one of the first all-CG characters for, like, to last throughout an entire movie, like a main character. And that was all new.
And aren't we grateful for that?
Yeah. And I felt like this did not feel like that for being modern, you know? The only moment that didn't feel... or that felt new, quote-unquote, was probably that last shot of the Millennium Falcon.
Sure.
Where it was just sort of this sort of dizzying, sort of swooping barrel roll sort of camera move following the Falcon. Which is fine, you know, but that was the only thing to me that felt like new Star Wars, kind of. Right.
That makes sense. Totally. Well, it felt like J.J. Abrams'
yes,
you know, is Star Wars by way of J.J. Abrams.
Right. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said on this show before, like, I don't envy J.J. Abrams because it's like he's walking this wire, you know, where it's the risks are astronomical, but the rewards are considerable. But like, just the pressure the guy must be under.
Yeah, I mean, because he's essentially relaunching Star Wars, you know, for good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars is now going to continue without George Lucas, and he's the guy that's kicking it off. And this is a $4 billion investment.
And the trailer for by the way, a couple things. It's called Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. I think this is worth recognizing that they're leaving the episode number out of the marketing.
I didn't think about that.
And here's why I think that's substantial. My theory is that none of the spin-offs will have Star Wars in the title.
Okay.
Because if you're calling this Star Wars: The Force Awakens, then it doesn't make any sense to have like the next year like Star Wars Boba Fett or whatever.
Right.
Because essentially these trilogy movies are like the tentpoles. Mm-hmm. Right? And if they're taking the episode numbers out, that means their intention is to have a saga movie every couple of years. Mm-hmm. So you need to separate the saga from the spin-offs.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's my theory. We'll see if that's borne out by anything.
Yeah. Well, one last thing I want to add was we talked about several episodes ago where with John Williams doing the score, which obviously, hey, sounds great. But we were like, well, is it time, to hand over the baton just simply because he's not going to be able to keep doing these things? Just not even talking about his age, but just these movies are going to go and go and go and go. And he's an older guy. He might just want to retire, for goodness sake. Yeah. And so is it time? Is this a good moment for the next person to sort of step up? You know, Giacchino or someone who usually works with J.J. Abrams. Right. And then after hearing the music in the trailer, I was like, no, I want all the Williams I can get.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
They interviewed George Lucas about it. Uh-huh. This by the way is already the most watched trailer in internet history.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder by what margin. I don't even know what that number would be.
Well, it's substantial.
Last I saw was like 30 million plus was last I saw. Something like that.
Well, let's see. It's I'm looking at
YouTube. Well, it's hard to tell too because then people repost You know what I mean? And it's not like it's all one link that's getting all the hits. Everything gets a little spread out.
Well, check this out. This is just in terms of social media. So the trailer itself has been watched 100 million times across the world. Right?
Yeah.
On Facebook, and this is from Entertainment Weekly. On Facebook, it's been shared from the official Star Wars page 141,646 times.
Wow.
It's been liked 168,617 times. It's been retweeted from the @Star Wars account 9,203 times. It's been favorited 5,296 times. Now, here's the interesting thing. Twitter stats when @Star Wars posted the YouTube trailer 3 hours after the iTunes debut. So what I just did, that was the iTunes trailer, the YouTube trailer, 20,198 retweets, 16,430 favorites. I mean, this is, when you think about it, the reason I bring all these numbers up is Star Wars has never been in the social media age.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So now you can track this stuff by the second.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bananas. I mean, 100 million times globally.
Wow.
I mean, and I know me personally, because it was like, it was going to be up on Friday morning. So like I kept like rolling over in my bed every couple hours after midnight, just checking my phone to see if it was up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so when this thing comes out, I mean, this is going to be it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Opening
Well, have you heard George Lucas's reaction to the trailer?
I have.
Yeah. George Lucas has said, "Well, I haven't seen it yet."
Yeah.
and people lost their minds over this.
Yeah.
And I find this funny because it seems like for the past 10 years, it's been all about George Lucas, give Star Wars to somebody else, get away from it, let somebody else do it. I'm sick of George Lucas on Star Wars. And then now he says, well, I haven't seen it yet, and people are like mad.
Right.
What's his problem?
Yeah.
And he's not even like, I have no interest in it. He's just like, I want to see the movie in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Wants to see it as a whole.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's like, when you think about it, like that's the reaction I'm actually very curious about, is what he thinks of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
that must be so difficult. Don't you think?
Well, in that book that I told you about a few weeks ago, the How Star Wars Conquered the Galaxy, or the universe, it mentions that, how like that was what he was most looking forward to, was being able, because think about it, he, unlike everyone else on the planet, has never had the experience of Star Wars that we all have.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So for the first time ever, he will experience it the way we all do.
Yeah.
And that's why he's taking kind of a hands-off approach, because he just wants to enjoy it as a movie.
Wow, how weird. And not only, it will feature the characters he created. It's not like new characters in his universe. Like he's going to get to see the Han and all these people doing things that he didn't set up for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So crazy,
Yeah.
So that's the Star Wars trailer. There have been other trailers.
No, there haven't.
Well, this one kind of sucked. Well, actually, and before we do that, there are a whole bunch of parodies. What are some of the parodies that you think people should check out? Because I know you probably scoured the web looking at a lot of these that popped up.
My favorite was the George Lucas edit.
The special edition?
Special edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he thought of the trailer, right?
Yeah, no, it's just they inserted a lot more TIE fighters, and Jabba the Hutt shows up for no reason, and there's like dewbacks crossing the screen for no reason.
Classic.
And, yeah, it's pretty good. It looks good too.
Yeah.
And Ghost Anakin or Hayden Christensen shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
Your favorite addition to the trilogy.
What about you? What's your favorite?
So I would have to go with the Wes Anderson version of the...
Yeah.
So this is, again, if Wes Anderson made Star Wars The Force Awakens, what it would look like. And, just go to YouTube, punch in Star Wars Wes Anderson. I'm assuming it'll come right up. Very, very funny and, like, spot on.
Yeah. I'll never get tired of Wes Anderson parodies, honestly.
And also worth pointing out, Mr. Plinkett put out a review of the Star Wars trailer.
Oh, I didn't listen to that. Is it good?
It's very funny. You know, it's
like
it's about 7 minutes long, or not very long, but it's very funny. So that is worth checking out. If you know the Plinkett reviews, you of course know what that's all about. So check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Other trailers, Jurassic World. We talked about last time how the Jurassic World trailer, we were frustrated it hadn't come out yet, and then it dropped literally the morning that our show dropped.
Yeah.
Which
is funny too, because that trailer I heard was supposed to debut Thanksgiving Day during football.
Yeah.
But then with the news of Star Wars dropping that weekend, it seems like they pushed back a couple days.
Oh, you know what? I didn't make the connection, but that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, and it was wise because when Jurassic World dropped, it was all over Facebook. It was everywhere, and everybody really liked it. So they got to have their little moment. Well, I wouldn't even call it a little moment. It was a big moment. They had their moment, and then Star Wars had its moment, It was wise, whoever decided to do that.
Well, and so what do we think about the Jurassic World trailer, Brian?
I think it looks cool, honestly. I was surprised to hear people who were, I wouldn't say underwhelmed, they just didn't like it. And
my co-host on my other show, and he's been a guest with us, Pervez Ahmed, was being Captain Killjoy on my Facebook, talking about how it doesn't look original.
Well, okay, wait.
The same old thing.
Was he saying it looked too much like the first film?
Yes.
Because I have a friend who works at a studio, and he said everyone at the studio was saying, well, it looks just like the first film.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
That's my reaction as well.
Yeah. And you know what? They're not wrong. If they want to see something different, I can understand that. But I personally don't. I want to see. I feel like it is different in the fact that it is Jurassic Park, like it is, about a park, and it's supposed to be about people being able to, like a zoo with dinosaurs, and we got to see that in the first one, where it doesn't get to open because it runs amok. But I want to see the park full of people operating and then go wrong. Like, to me, that is a different movie, and I like that it's in the park setting. I love the thought of going to, the San Diego Zoo and then having dinosaurs run amok. That sounds cool. So, I'm in.
Now, some of the CGI in the trailer looks a little dodgy, in my opinion.
It's funny you say that, because the only thing that stuck out to me was the doors. The large Jurassic Park doors, and I was a little disappointed. It's like, oh, why they do that in CG? And it's funny because then the director, like the very next day, came out and was like, "Don't worry, doors won't be CG in movie." It was almost like he heard me.
It's I have to say, and I've said this before, I'm consistently impressed by everything Colin Trevorrow says about this film, because he just seems really on point.
He seems like one of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the way he talks about things, and yeah.
So and Jurassic World opens in June of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a Jurassic Park sequel and a Star Wars sequel. It's an embarrassment of riches. By the way, the Jurassic World trailer, worth pointing out, it's been viewed 53.9 million times.
Wow. Yeah.
As of last week, anyway. And right behind that is the Avengers 2 trailer. So actually. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the pecking order there, I find it interesting that there is that much interest in a new Jurassic Park movie, that it's even more times than the Age of Ultron trailer, the Jurassic World trailer has been watched.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, it's something that's beloved. I think Jurassic Park is, I didn't realize this because the movie's always felt like, not personal to me, but like it was like a big movie for my brother and I. But as I get older now, with podcasts and listening to other people talk, I didn't realize what a seminal movie it was for so many people.
Yeah.
And I think, and especially, of maybe people around our age and a little younger, it was at a very perfect time for us, when we were early teens or even younger. And so I think there's something to be said about something similar to Phantom Menace, if you want to compare it, where something that is beloved by people, and then you give it some time, instead of ramming sequel after sequel every 2 years, give it some time and then go back and revisit that thing they love. People are going to get excited about that.
Right.
I certainly, on my Facebook page, people were pretty excited about it.
So that's one high-profile trailer for a movie coming out next summer. Another big movie coming out next summer also dropped a trailer, and boy, have I been waiting to talk to you about this. Terminator Genesys.
Uh-huh.
By the way, Terminator Genesys also did the thing that I was pissed off about last time, where they had like the 15-second teaser for the trailer.
Yeah.
Before they dropped it. Hollywood, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop doing that. No, just don't do it.
Although,
yes,
that 15-second teaser, I think I liked more than the actual trailer.
Okay, so Terminator 2 is your favorite movie or one of your favorite movies?
I'd say top 5.
Yeah, it's your desert island movie.
It's my jam. Oh, it's a desert island movie, definitely.
Yeah, I think you even said that on a previous episode. So your reaction is the one I'm most curious about. What do you think about this? We've been talking about this a long time. This is our first look at footage. What do you think?
What really grabbed me about the teaser, what I was saying about the 15-second thing, was you got Arnold looking Terminator-y, and then you got what looked like Robert Patrick, on the hood of a car, Silver Terminator morphing kind of a thing. And it just felt like, yeah, that's the imagery that I really latch onto and I really love. And so with the trailer, there was something about it where like the first half felt like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm feeling this. And then somewhere in the second half of the trailer, it just kind of turned into something else.
Okay.
And so I have to give this caveat, like Terminator 2, since I love it so much, like that to me is Terminator. Like that film, those actors, that look, that score, all of that is what I love. So anything else, it's unfair. Like anything else, regardless, is not going to feel right to me. And so I know that. So like I have that prejudice going against it, but so I can set it aside when I'm watching it because I just need to enjoy it on its own. But yeah, there was just some things. Let's go with Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor.
Sure.
There was like one moment where she kind of turned to the screen and said like whatever, on your feet, soldier, kind of thing from like the first Terminator, and I was like, oh, okay. Uh-huh. Like I get it. Like she looks kind of like Sarah Connor, and they got her to whatever. So those things were actually the things that were sort of working for me. But then it was just like, I don't know what happened. It just sort of turned into just sort of, I said to you, it felt like just 2015 action movie,
right, with
Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator in it. And it's just a trailer. I don't know. And that's another thing too, when we talk about the Star Wars trailer, like it's not going to look like 1983 Star Wars because it's not 1983.
Yeah.
And so it's like our brains are calibrated for that. And so it's sort of a disruption to the system, seeing it look a little differently, but that's just how movies look now. And so there's a part of me that needs to adjust to that. But like, there was just something about it didn't hook me like I was hoping it would. But I'm still excited to give it a shot because I do like that universe.
All right.
So who's the other guy I wanted to comment?
Now, folks, by the way,
Connor.
just what you just heard, that's Brian angry. He's like, yeah, I hope it's good.
I'm like way too diplomatic to be hosting a movie podcast.
That's angry Brian.
I like Jason Clarke.
Yeah.
The thought of him as John Connor really excites me. I'm not crazy about Jai Courtney.
Sure.
He is. I said to you, he out Sam Worthington. So I don't know how crazy I am about that. Emilia Clarke, I'm willing to give a shot. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. Who cares what I think? What do you think?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm sick and tired of "Come with me if you want to live."
Stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it. I'll be back. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But just no. It's done.
It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Every version of this story, they bring those two lines in. It's very annoying, and I hate it. Okay, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two. It first of all, what it feels like they're doing to me is that they're doing sort of a Star Trek 2009 thing.
Yes.
Where essentially the goal is by the end of this movie, you have rebooted the franchise without starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is fine if that's what they want to do. But it feels like that's their way of being like, all right, what are like the sort of iconic parts of the franchise? And it's like, well, we got to have Sarah Connor and, the love story with Kyle Reese. But it's like, well, Sarah Connor's got to be a badass. Okay, well, let's figure out a way to make her be a badass, but still have Kyle Reese in it. And, well, we got to have Schwarzenegger in it. How do we? Well, because he's old. You know what I mean? So it feels like Hollywood math.
Yeah.
Like, well, we got to have this, and we got to have this, and we got to put a little bit of this, and and it's like it feels like a product.
Mm-hmm.
And Hollywood makes products, but like I was reading about how Arnold is going to be wearing like XY whatever it's called Hawaiian wear in the film, and why is he wearing that? Because David Ellison, who's the producer, owns like the company that launched that line, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's this degree of cynicism there, which again, like I'm not, I didn't get off the turnip truck yesterday. I get it. Like Hollywood is a cynical business, but on the aesthetic side, this is something that bothered me. There's an overt CG-ness to it.
Yep.
That feels very un-Terminator-y to me. And I'll say this, like I have my issues with Terminator Salvation, but one thing I did appreciate about that movie is that it leaned heavily on practical effects.
Over Thanksgiving weekend, I was doing laundry, and I was up late waiting for my laundry to finish, and Terminator Salvation was on TV, and I haven't seen it since the theater. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna watch this again. I complained about it, but I don't even remember it, to be honest. Yeah. And you know what? I didn't really like it, like the same sort of way, but I did like have a different sort of feeling toward it. Like exactly what you said. Like at least it felt dusty. Yeah. You know what I mean? It felt like the Terminators, in a lot of instances, felt like they were actually there. Right. So I'm totally with you on that. And I want to add real quick. I was thinking about this while you were talking. With Terminator 2, based on what you said, made me think of this. What I really love, and we always bring up Amblin films. That's like us, our generation, we love Amblin films. And I think a lot of people can't figure out why, they just like them. I know why. It's because it's something fantastic happening in your backyard. That's an Amblin film. And Terminator 2 is very similar. It's something fantastic and horrifying in your backyard. Like Terminator 1 is on the streets of LA with like LA streetlights lighting the movie, with a robot walking down the street chasing this woman. You know what I mean? And Terminator 2 has one of my favorite chase sequences of all time is the truck chase with the kid on the moped, and the Terminator on the motorcycle. And what's so cool
and we
about
visited that location.
Yes, we did. Last time you were out here visiting me, we went to that spot where the truck jumps from the street down into the canal. And remember you pulled on your phone, you pulled up the making of. Yeah. That was looking at it from that angle. Yeah. Yeah, where we were standing, yeah. You know what it felt like to me when we did that? It felt like those like crime shows where you have like the criminologist who's like so gifted that he just like goes to the scene and he sees like the murder that happened. Right. But he's looking at it later and it just feels different. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry, go on. Well, no, I was just going to say, I mean, that sequence is... There's like no special effects in it within reason. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's a awesome spectacle seeing this truck jump down in this canal and try to ram this motorcycle. Yeah. But then it blows up and then this liquid metal guy comes out. But there's no other CG going on. You could pass this in the street and it would be frightening to see this liquid metal killer walking out of this flame down in the street. So that's Terminator to me. Yeah. Like my city, but these robots are fighting this war, right? Amongst regular people, and they're like, so, and even the future war, like there's something dusty and grim and whatever about it, and like just when it becomes more of like a CGI spectacle, it doesn't feel, the weight is gone. Yeah, you feel more distant from it. Yeah. Right. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean that comes out this summer, so we'll see where it's at. I mean, I'm not blown away by what I see so far, but I mean, reaction online has been very, very polarized. So we shall see.
We shall.
But moving on, we do have some headlines to discuss, and we were just talking about the Star Trek 2009, which rebooted that franchise. There is, of course, a third Star Trek on the way, and up until now, Roberto Orci had been the man who was going to be directing that movie. Up until a few days ago, on Friday of last week, which is kind of like take out the trash day when it comes to like big news things.
Right. It was maybe they won't notice.
It was a Friday afternoon when they announced that Edgar Wright had left Ant-Man, if you remember. But Roberto Orci has left the directing role of Star Trek 3. Now, what makes this intriguing is that this movie is on kind of a clock because it must come out in 2016. Because 2016 is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. So there's no, they need to make that date. You know what I mean?
Right.
So as of now, they have no director, and it looks like they have no script. So what do you think is going on here?
Oh, well, I mean, with the new Star Treks, they had J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
And you could get people that might not otherwise see a Star Trek film to go.
Yeah.
And I think now that he's not there, they've established a lot of goodwill, even though it might have lessened a little bit with the last one.
Yeah.
And I mean that even just according to facts. I mean, that movie just didn't perform as well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot riding on this movie, I think, to prove that it can continue.
So now Orci, this is like his first time directing. You think that
would have been?
It's because my question is, how does this happen this late in the process?
Who knows? I mean, you can only speculate, but I mean, obviously they've got a lot riding on it, and if they did it this late, they're going to do what they have to do to get it right.
Wow. So yeah, clearly some shenanigans there. So now Edgar Wright is the number one choice of the studio.
Yeah, well, sure, of course it is.
Well, here's my theory: is they put Edgar Wright out there deliberately so that whoever we do end up with, we can be unhappy with.
yeah.
Because there's
that wasn't very smart, was it?
It wasn't. Why put that out there? So Star Trek 3 kind of in a state of flux. It again. If Paramount has any kind of marketing sense, they're gonna, by hook or by crook, it's gonna come out in 2016. So we have to see. Well, the developments on this one, I think, are going to be worth following.
Well, can I say real quick, with Edgar Wright, it would be interesting to watch him direct a franchise movie.
Yeah,
because he has not made a movie yet that hasn't been, markedly an Edgar Wright film.
Yeah.
And Evangeline Lilly, did you see her comments?
Yeah, she was talking about his version of Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, saying that it was an Edgar Wright movie, and it didn't fit into the Marvel universe necessarily. And she seemed to fully support Edgar's version, but she understood, the way it had to be. So it just makes me wonder, it would be interesting to see Edgar Wright direct a franchise movie. What would he... I don't know. How would he rein himself in? Would he even enjoy it?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, when we talk about franchise movies, the biggest franchise of all is James Bond. Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited because last week they announced the next Bond movie, which is due out in November, this coming November.
Oh, okay, 2015, yeah.
2015 is stacked, man.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we say this every year. But
2015?
Well, not 2015 specific. Well, no, 2015. Remember, we were talking about how that's
We've been
kind
saying
of like
it forever. That's a stacked year.
Yeah, but so we got Bond 24 coming out. It's called Spectre, and this makes me very happy as a James Bond.
Is this
fan.
with Phil Spector?
It is. He's going to be the villain. He'll be played by Al Pacino.
Uh-huh.
Al Pacino, who, by the way, I don't know if you heard this, he's talked with Marvel.
Yeah, I heard that.
About it because he liked Guardians of the Galaxy so much.
How funny is that?
Isn't that random? But yeah, Bond 24. Now, here's why I'm excited about this for a couple of reasons. They got Christoph Waltz as the villain. Mm-hmm. It's a great choice.
Which, yep, see that.
And they have Monica Bellucci as the Bond girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thank you very much. Monica Bellucci, how has she never been a Bond girl?
Yeah, for sure. Right?
And here's the interesting thing. She's 50 years old, so she's actually older than James Bond.
Oh, okay.
So, kind of scandalous. So, at that point, I don't think she's a Bond woman at that point.
Right. And still super sexy.
Yeah, so
yeah, like you said, she seems like destined to be a Bond girl.
Right. How has it not happened?
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
Now, the movie is called Spectre, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but this...
I thought it was called Spectra. Spectra?
Yeah, like Spectre Man, like that Japanese superhero show. No, Spectre is the criminal organization that Bond squares off with in the first batch of movies, like with Sean Connery. Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Evil from Austin Powers is modeled on Blofeld, who is the villain in the original James Bond movies. So we have not seen Spectre as an organization in these movies since the 60s.
Wow.
Because of there's like a legal issue. So that legal stuff has been cleared up. So the fact that the movie is called Spectre is like it's a statement that we're bringing them back.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm
right? I mean,
I'm super excited about this.
Yeah. Me too. I'm not the Bond fan that you are, only meaning that I haven't watched them my whole life and I've seen them in and out, but I really love what they're doing with them right now. I look forward to them. So yeah.
I was getting a little fidgety, I'll be honest, because we hadn't heard anything about the next Bond movie. Mm-hmm. And I've realized in my life, life sort of takes things away from you. I feel like James Bond is one of those things, like it's one of those constants in my life.
Yeah.
I would be sad if...
Fear not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got another one on the way, so I'm excited about it. So that's due out next November. Now, the big news this past week has been the this Sony thing, and you're gonna have to talk me through this. What exactly happened here?
Oh, you just caught me in a yawn.
Okay. Sorry that we're boring you, Brian.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Sorry that me and the audience are boring you, apparently.
Well, here's what's going on with Sony, and this is a very, very bizarre story. Hackers hacked into Sony's computers like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago about, and it started as sort of a very bizarre, sort of freaky, but sort of minor thing, where I first heard about it on my Facebook because I have a couple friends that work at Sony, and they said that they had to go home because they couldn't use their computers or their phones. And their screens were overtaken by this image. Some organization, quote unquote, called, was it GOP, something of peace? Guardians of Peace, is what they're calling themselves. They have these demands for Sony, and if they're not met, they're going to, wreak havoc. And it began with them leaking, it seemed like just sort of bad, but kind of innocuous things, like just documents, like photocopies of actors' passports, things like that. But then it started getting even like more and more, and they started leaking salaries of high-ranking people over at Sony. Then I think it got down to leaking everybody's salary, everybody who works there's information, social security, addresses. They leaked Sony films. They leaked Fury. They leaked Annie, which hasn't even come out yet. And somehow nobody seemed to notice. I don't know. They're like, well, I guess we'll have to try again. Nobody's watching Annie. But then it just kept going and going, and now they're starting to leak emails,
right?
Between the heads of Sony, between other studio heads and agents, and we're getting an insight into a lot of things that are a little salacious and gossipy.
You have to figure that the Sony heads are like, hey, you know that there are other movie studios, right?
Or I was thinking, if you were at another movie studio, I'd be like, holy crap, call the IT guy. Like,
yeah, right.
Or deleting emails and things like that.
This has been now I have to be honest, when this first leaked, I was like, well, this is just all very unseemly, and I don't want to dignify. I'm not interested in people's salaries. But then, as this stuff, like as we've gotten more and more stuff, I have to be honest. I'm going through these things the way I am, like when Lifetime movies are on, where I'm just completely sucked in. Now, like there's
well, you know why? Because they're talking about the things we want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that we wonder about, and when we hear stories and we're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why did they say this? Now we're finding out why.
Right.
Because they're leaking all the emails that explain these stories.
Well, like one thing that we've learned is that apparently the folks at Sony really strongly dislike Adam Sandler. Yeah. Which makes this sound like the worst shotgun marriage of all time.
Yeah. I mean, Sony, before all this, they're struggling as a studio. And Adam Sandler has a very cushy deal with them. Happy Madison, I should say, his company. And his movies, though, as of late, just aren't performing like they used to. And so, yeah, there were some emails, some back and forth. Or I think it was actually something on an internal comment thread.
This is like a year-end review thing. Yeah.
They were just saying, why are we giving all this money still to Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. Like, we think this and we wonder why. They do, and Sony is wondering also. Apparently.
Well, so this is from Pajiba.com. They helpfully, which is a great website, which you actually turned me on to, Brian. They compiled some of the stuff. So again, this is from their year-end review. So here's one person that says, there's a general blahness to the films we produce. Although we manage to produce an innovative film once in a while, Social Network, Moneyball, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, we continue to be saddled with the mundane, formulaic Adam Sandler films. And then another thing, the studio needs to change deal structure that has been in place with Happy Madison, as this arrangement has disproportionately benefited Adam Sandler and his team. And then more. There are a lot of term deal personnel as well as creative personnel, yet we only release a dozen or so Columbia pictures a year, for example. And will we still be paying for Adam Sandler? Why?
Yeah.
So they clearly do not like Adam Sandler movies at Sony, yet they keep making them.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? That's another thing, too. Like, maybe they don't perform spectacularly like they used to, but I'm certain those movies keep the lights on over there. So,
well, isn't that kind of sad?
No, that's business.
Well, I mean, and they talk about the Social Network in that thing. Now, a big project that was kind of the hope was that it would be kind of the Social Network redux was this Steve Jobs bio that was percolating at Sony for a while. And I think the latest is that it's at Universal now. Danny Boyle's directing. I believe Fassbender is officially attached, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, see, isn't that funny? Because we're talking about this, like, isn't it this? And wasn't David Fincher kind of, like, there was these sort of, like, why did they do this? I don't know why it's at Universal. Now we know. Yeah,
so holy crap. So basically, there's the Aaron Sorkin written Steve Jobs bio, that it was bouncing around for the longest time, and what we've found out is that basically the hackers have leaked all of the emails between the producer Scott Rudin and the head of the studio Amy Pascal about trying to get this movie made. And the ironic thing is that these emails are the basis for the next Aaron Sorkin written movie.
Nice. Brilliant. That was brilliant. You're probably right.
This is freaking crazy, right?
I would love to watch the Sony hacked movie written by Aaron Sorkin. It's gonna have to be a movie.
So did you read these emails?
I skimmed it. I got the gist of it, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So now Scott Rudin is not a well-liked person in Hollywood.
Yeah, not a cuddly personality.
He's not beloved. I mean, he's successful. He's not necessarily beloved, which can describe lots of other people in Hollywood. So please, Scott Rudin, don't sue us. But the email chain back and forth here is bananas.
Yeah. Well, why don't you explain this one?
So I mean,
and let me put it this way: the tone of these emails is basically like Amy Pascal is like a girlfriend.
Right.
Who, like an ex-girlfriend who's trying to talk to like an ex-boyfriend again. And he's like, let me be. Let me be. Like, that's the tone in the back and forth.
I mean, they're going back and forth. Essentially, what this is like, I'm trying to boil this down a lot, but essentially, Rudin was trying to put together the deal at Sony with Fincher on board and Sorkin script, Christian Bale, and Sony wanted to put David Fincher on this Cleopatra movie that Angelina Jolie wanted him to direct.
Mm-hmm.
Angelina Jolie, however, was making her movie called Unbroken, which she directed, so there was no start date for Fincher on Cleopatra, and there was no script, but essentially she was staking her stardom on, no, I want Fincher to do this. And so Rudin just went ballistic. Mm-hmm. And he's like, she's a spoiled brat, and tell her to shut up, and what's her problem, and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is you know, he's like, if you don't tell her, I will, this whole thing. So then, anyway, he goes back and forth. You got to read this, honestly. It's on Gawker. I'm like going through here.
It's everywhere. It's on Variety. It's everywhere.
Scott Rudin says to her, he says, I'm not destroying my career over a minimally talented, spoiled brat. This is in reference to Angelina Jolie, who thought nothing of shoving this off of her plate for 18 months so she could go direct a movie. I have no desire to be making a movie with her or anybody that she runs, and we don't. She's a camp event and a celebrity, and that's all, and the last thing anybody needs is to make a giant bomb with her that any fool could see coming. Ouch.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I have to say he's kind of right about the idea of an Angelina Jolie in a Cleopatra movie.
A $200 million Cleopatra movie is a terrible idea.
Yeah, so I think he's right. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it continues, and the script is getting great reviews, and back and forth, blah blah blah. So at the very end of all this, the movie winds up at Universal. Right? Mm-hmm. Sony let it go. So Sony's done. So Amy Pascal emails Scott Rudin, I would do this for you. You should do this. In other words, she's trying to get him back, to bring the movie back to Sony. Rudin responds, it's closed. We just spoke to your guys. She responds, please, I'll call Universal. He responds, no, you won't. She responds again, you know you can do this. He responds, Amy, it's closed. I'm sorry. I begged you to do it. You don't believe in this version of it, and you told Danny this yesterday. Let it be. We've done right by you. She responds again, you know you can do this. He responds again, you have to stop. We closed. We killed ourselves to get you to do it. She responds, why are you punishing me?
I almost feel dirty actually airing this.
Really. So then he says, you are about to cross a line that won't get uncrossed after you do it. Don't go there with me. You won't like the result. This is like listening to mom and dad fight.
Yeah, yeah.
So he says, finally, go home. You're not thinking straight. I'm not answering any more of these. And so this is like, you talk to your kids, and that, boys and girls, is how Jobs was born.
Right, seriously. I'm
telling you, if this thing doesn't turn into a movie, seriously, this is like an HBO movie at least.
Well, and getting to that, we still don't know who's doing this.
Yeah.
Right? And not only that, but it seems like, okay, some people can get into their vault and leak a couple of their unreleased movies. That's a big damn deal. But, like, it just keeps coming. It just keeps, like, all of this stuff. Like, there's emails. We always wish that Sony would release Spider-Man so he could be in a Marvel movie. Well, they've talked about it. We know it now.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Yeah, so this is another one of the big leaks. Now, by the way, the one thing that we see a lot of in this information is how again and again they stress how Spider-Man is their one and only franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that until I thought about it. It's like, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Right, and you realize, by the way, why Sony's so desperate to get another Ghostbusters movie made.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have a lot of, the cupboard isn't really stocked.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony has been talking with Marvel, or had been talking with Marvel, and Marvel wanted to find a way to get Spider-Man into Captain America Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is just naivete on my part. How does Sony not immediately agree to this?
I know. I don't know. I really do. I mean, I can sort of see why you'd be like, no, he's ours, back off. I understand that. But at the same time, because there's sort of a humility in realizing that you have to let this other company use your character. It's not, they don't need him. You know what I mean? Like, you do.
Marvel doesn't.
You need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's sort of a humbling sort of thing about it, and I can understand that. But at the same time, like, it's only going to help you.
Yeah, so I mean, as recently as late October 30th, the president of Sony Pictures, Doug Belgrad, he proposed the idea that Marvel produce a trilogy of Spider-Man movies that Sony would distribute and market. Mm-hmm. That seems like a win-win.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how that didn't happen. And then later on, it turns out that Marvel is actually inquiring about a way to include Spider-Man in their universe. I mean, this is just the dumbest friggin' thing I've ever heard. Like, I don't understand. Like, you guys figure it out.
Right.
Because this is a license to print money.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows?
So, well, anyway, all this salacious material, but, like, the thing is, again, we still don't know who did this. And the popular rumor is that it's North Korea. Which, as I say that out loud... But people speculate because that movie, the Interview, starring Seth Rogen and James Franco, about two American journalists who are going out to kill the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. North Korea has expressed their feelings that they are against this film and that they don't think this movie
I'm
should
shocked
be released.
that North Korea is opposed to a movie that's about assassinating their leader.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like, if you were a real nation with real things going on, you probably wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be...
Well, hold on. Now, I'm not going to defend North Korea, but let's say, hypothetically, Iran makes a movie about a secret plot to do something to our president. And not a fictional president, a real president.
You know what? I do. You know what? I realize that, actually, now that you say it. You're right. Because in my head, I'm thinking of this as just a silly, stupid Seth Rogen movie. So there's part of me that's just like, oh, whatever. But You know what? You're right. You're right. Like, there's a disrespect on display there. Yeah. That's very casual and, yeah. No, you're right. I learned something today, Zaki.
Well, thank you. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there was a lot of evidence that like the software and the tactics that were being used for this hack was something that had been done before by North Korea. Yeah. So there was just all of these sorts of things. And I guess Korea for a while wasn't even disavowing it or whatever, or saying that it wasn't them. And I don't even know where that's at anymore, but where they ended up. But the people, whoever it is, the GOP, whatever, Guardians of Peace, they did put out a statement saying that they think the Interview is like an act of terrorism. They called it a movie of terrorism and said that Sony needs to not release it. So who knows? So
it could actually be, like, again, see, I feel like this is another movie waiting to be made.
I know. Well, it doesn't mean it's the nation of North Korea, but it could be North Korean sympathizers.
This is the sequel to The Interview.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
See, Sony, we're solving problems. We're problem solvers, Brian. Mm-hmm. Sony's trying to figure out the hack situation, to put a Band-Aid on it, and create new franchises. We've solved all three. Yeah. You're welcome, Amy Pascal. But just going back to the Scott Rudin thing, now I don't live in L.A. You do. In L.A., Brian, do people not use telephones?
What do you mean?
Well,
it seems the email?
It seems like most of this shit, if you just spoke to each other on the phone, you would not have this massive paper trail.
That is a good point. I don't know. But I did notice in one of the emails, it said something like ducking, which is, commonly when people try to say the F word in texting, it gets spell corrected into ducking.
Okay.
So I think it looked like a lot of this was like written from phones. So this is probably like running around meeting to meeting, and they're just like spewing this stuff out to each other on their phones.
All right,
That's how it struck me.
so here's my suggestion to the heads of Sony: invest in Bluetooth headsets. I mean, seriously, right? Because it's just I wouldn't have had to do my dramatic reading. I wouldn't have anything to read off of. If you just...
It's true, but on the other hand, can you imagine like trying to the way that these people argue with each other? I mean, would there even be a conversation, or would it just be two people, like two dogs barking at each other? Like, at least in this way, they like get to articulate their points. You know what I mean?
See, folks, this is how you can tell Brian has fully become acclimated to Hollywood culture. We're like, well, come on, man, come on, just be fair to them. They've got a lot going on. They're running studios.
Well, that's not exactly what I'm saying, but
yeah. So that's the Sony story. Now,
wait, real quick. I want to say one more thing about the Sony story.
Yes.
With the interview, they said that I don't remember specifically the quote, but it was something about like warning people not to go see this movie. So, do you think that is a good problem or a problem for Sony? This movie.
Like, I don't know. That's interesting. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I think that the audience for this movie is pretty niche anyway. Mm-hmm. This was never going to be a big blockbuster. Mm-hmm. This is, if anything, it'll do about as well as, This Is the End did.
Right.
So, I think any attention is good attention, but I don't think that this controversy is really gonna move the needle for people who didn't. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just.
Do you think it'll keep people away?
I don't think anybody who was planning on seeing it is gonna not see it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's gonna move anybody who wasn't planning on seeing it to go see it.
Fair enough. So. Not much damage done.
So, situation normal, all effed up. You know, status quo.
All right.
That being said, there are other studios, believe it or not, that Sony desperately wishes had also been hacked, but they have not. And among them is Warner Brothers, which has their DC universe that they're trying to build on screen. And I did want to briefly mention this just because we've spent a lot of time, Brian. And by we, I mean I spent a lot of time dismissing their efforts at universe building. Mm-hmm. Why? Mm-hmm. Because I think that they're bound for failure. Because nobody wants to see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Nobody wants to see an Aquaman movie. Nobody wants to see whoever that guy is as the Flash. These are all bad ideas. I forget that guy's name. Ezra Miller. I'm sure Ezra Miller's a lovely person, but nobody wants to see him in the Flash. So, the first movie in this DC universe that I'm actually excited about is called Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. And it's just been announced last week. And now Suicide Squad is a comic book that I actually read growing up, right? It's written by John Ostrander. And the premise is it's kind of like the Dirty Dozen of superheroes. Mm-hmm. So you have these super villains who are given a chance for a pardon, but they have to go off and fulfill missions for the government. It's called the Suicide Squad because there's no guarantee that they're going to come back. So cool, great comic. Loved it when I was a kid. And so they announced the movie, and I was like a little hinky about it, but the cast that they've announced for this movie has me very excited. So we've
We've got Will
Will
Smith.
The
level of villains.
Say again?
Well, I was gonna say in the level of villains. Like this isn't second tier villains here.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I mean we'll get to the biggest name in terms of the characters at the end here, but we've got Will Smith heading up the cast as Deadshot. Tom Hardy is going to be Rick Flag. Margot Robbie from Wolf of Wall Street.
Wall
right?
Street.
Yeah, she's going to be Harley Quinn. And then Jai Courtney, this friggin' guy, he's the like one of these things, not like the other. He's going to be Boomerang. And Jared Leto, Oscar winner Jared Leto, is going to be the Joker.
Yeah, which seems like a pretty big deal.
Right.
Right? like anytime he appears on screen, that's an event.
The Joker.
Yeah, and since they're establishing a universe here with DC, it's not like Jack Nicholson, he's going to appear once and then they're going to do it again with someone else. Like, it seems like this is the Joker to stay, I would imagine.
Yeah.
For some years.
Well, it's kind of interesting, right? Because what I read today, I don't know if you read this, but in Batman versus Superman, the status quo is that Jim Gordon is dead.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry, spoiler, guys. I realize I said that, but this irks me a little bit.
What's that?
Well, it irks me that we're creating a DC universe that, like, why would you deliberately take characters like that off the board?
Well, I wondered that too, because if this is really the starting line for something that's going to last several years, and you're starting Batman out as an old guy,
yeah,
that seems kind of weird.
It does seem weird, and it gets to, like, supposedly what I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but he has his Robin in this film is Carrie Kelly, who's the female Robin from the Dark Knight Returns miniseries, right? That's like the future miniseries with an older Batman, right? So in other words, we've skipped over the real Robin. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like, what is this aversion to Dick Grayson?
Yeah.
Between this and the previous film, like, I'm like going down like a comic geek rabbit hole, but I'm like, Dick Grayson is an important part of the mythology. Mm-hmm. And, it's like they just want to wipe him away, Mm-hmm. It's irksome to me. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm irked, Brian. I'm irked. That's what I'm saying. They are, by the way, doing a Teen Titans TV series that will have Nightwing, who's the Dick Grayson.
Live action?
Yeah, it's going to be on TNT, so it'll, probably suck. I'm irked at TNT because they canceled Dallas.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they canceled Dallas in favor of the Titans, I don't know what to think. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say. So is Joker like the villain that these guys are hunting down?
That's my question. So my theory on this is that he's part of the squad, and then he kind of breaks bad on them. Okay,
I was gonna say, 'cause I've never read this, and I can't imagine Joker ever getting along with a group of people. So
yeah, in all of the comics I read, Joker was never a member of this team.
Right.
In the recent version of the comic, which I have not read, but Harley Quinn is a member. Uh-huh. But you can't, like, the thing with the Suicide Squad is that they are ostensibly villains, but they're likable villains. Mm-hmm. So there's that hope for redemption. The Joker, mm-hmm. He cannot be redeemed.
Right.
So I would expect that he's in there as his wild card, and then he turns on him. That's my guess anyway. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. But like I said, I'm excited about this one, man.
Yeah, I would like to see something different.
Yeah,
sounds different.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for me, I've been down on the DC cinematic universe up until now. I think it's a bad idea. By the way, also worth pointing out, speaking of the DC cinematic universe, they have a new TV series coming up. Did you hear about this?
What is it?
It's called Krypton.
No, I haven't read about this.
Well,
I saw a headline. I don't know what this is.
So this is a Sci-Fi Channel original series. So there's your first red flag right there. I find it deeply upsetting, by the way, that the one place you don't want your sci-fi show to end up is the Sci-Fi Channel.
Well, I feel like Sci-Fi is working on turning it around. They got 12 Monkeys going now, which I hear is really good. I may or may not have a friend that works there.
Notwithstanding 12 Monkeys, fine. I haven't seen it, but I have heard that's good, actually. But yeah, so this is a Superman prequel. Uh-huh. But bear in mind, we've already had a prequel to Superman called Smallville. Mm-hmm. So this is a prequel to the prequel. This is,
I imagine, about the planet Krypton?
Yeah, it'll be about Superman's great or his grandfather. Mm-hmm. So Jor-El's father.
Todd L.
Todd L. That's that. Do you have the script? Now, what's interesting? Interesting. That's how I pronounce that word. To say no. What's interesting about what's in? I was trying to say intriguing is that it's this is the script is by David Goyer.
Okay.
Which is not like I'm not like yay David Goyer, but he wrote Man of Steel.
Right.
So that makes me think that this is of a piece with the version of Krypton that we saw in that. Mm-hmm. Which then makes me say, well, the idea of seeing that on a Sci-Fi Channel budget has me terrified.
Yeah. Like the flying dragons and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I don't know. It doesn't seem like the worst idea.
Well, in theory, but again, you
in theory,
you lose me at sci-fi.
Sure.
You know. So, but hey, you know what? I'm feeling good about Suicide Squad. So, you know,
so Zaki's happy.
So yeah, you know, look, you know what? This has been an episode of surprises. We started out with me saying, "Hey, I love the Hobbit movies now," and now I'm excited about
excited about a DC movie.
I don't even know me anymore, man. I don't know what's happened. I used to be cool, and then something happened.
I used to be cool.
Yeah, but that brings us pretty much right up to the end of our time.
Yeah, man, and you know what? What is this? Early December. I mean, now we got all these Oscar movies coming out. Should be some good stuff coming up.
We got lots of stuff to talk about, and the next time we talk will be, I think, probably not in 2 weeks, but in 3 weeks. So we'll try to get one more in just before the end of December. But our next episode would fall on the week of Christmas. So I think both of us are going to be engaged in whatever it is that we do. Merriment of different flavors, absolutely. But Brian, hey, where can people find you online?
It's my favorite part of the episode. You can find me at everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I, and I also have a Twitter handle.
What is that, Brian?
It is at everythingbrian.
And we're currently at 4 tweets. 4 tweets. So
I want to give a shout out to Doug. Doug tweets me, and I appreciate it because then I tweet Doug back. So I do have a pal on Twitter, Zaki.
and Doug O'Laughlin, he's one of our regulars, and Doug I know is listening. So thank you, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you for being a friend to Brian.
Yeah, I don't know my place there just yet, but if I can find a place there, I'm welcome to it. I'm open to it.
All right, well, and you can, of course, find me at zakiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. And also at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as does this show. I'm also on Twitter, and unlike Brian, I have recently posted my 7,883rd tweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Nah, but I love your stuff.
Is what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
So check that out, and you can also find us at our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. We are, of course, on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Please do write us a review. Let us know how we're doing. We can improve the show only if you give us your feedback. So please make that happen. If you have anything to say to us, there's plenty of ways to reach us. But otherwise, we will see you in 2 weeks. This is the Movie Film Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie